All right, so in this video, we're going to start looking at trig equations that are quadratic in nature. All right, they resemble quadratics. All right, here I'm asked to solve 4 cosine squared is equal to 1. So if you remember how to solve 4x squared equals to 1, whatever steps that you would have used to solve this can be the same steps that you used to solve this. Okay, just my x here is really a cosine. So on this one, since I've just got one trig function, I'm just going to isolate the trig function, get the cosine part by itself. So I can divide by 4. That gives me cosine squared is equal to 1/4. Right? And then I can take the square root of both sides to cancel out that square. That's going to leave me with cosine of x is equal to plus minus 1/2. Right? Now, from here, I'm going to break it down into 2 cases. All right. I'm going to have 2 equations I need to solve. I need to solve cosine is equal to 1/2 and cosine is equal to negative 1/2. So these are just going to be the spots on the unit circle where cosine is either equal to 1/2, which happens at the 60-degree mark, the 300-degree mark, right? X equals 60, x equals 300. And it's also going to happen at the places where cosine is negative. So in quadrant 2 and in quadrant 3. That one is at 120. And this one down here is at 240. Those are going to be my 4 base answers this time. All right, and then of course you've got your old plus or minus 360n for all of these. Okay, you got a bunch of solutions for this equation. All right, if you were to look at the graph of this, all right, you're going to see a whole lot of solutions. Oh, plus or minus 360n. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and check my answer. I'll plug one of these in. All right, let's say I wanted to plug in the 300 for x here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. 300 store to x. Make sure you're in degree mode. And we'll just say 4 cosine of x squared, like that. And voila, it equals 1. So that's our answer. All right, it also works for these two as well. Now, I know I solved this one using inverse operations. There is another way that we could have solved this. All right. What I could have done was I could have moved this 1 over, and I would have gotten something like this. 4 cosine squared minus 1 equals 0. And this can be solved by factoring. All right, this is difference of squares. I could have wrote this as 2 cosine minus 1, 2 cosine plus 1 equal to 0. And then I would have set each one of these factors equal to 0 and then solved. Like this one right here would have given me cosine is equal to 1/2 when you move the 1 over and divide by 2, which kind of resembles that. And then this one would have been your cosine equals negative 1/2. So there's multiple ways that you could have solved this particular equation. All right, we'll look at one more in this video. That'll be it. So this one is a quadratic in tangent. So I'm going to try to solve this by factoring. I've got multiple terms here. So I'm not going to be able to just isolate the tangent like I did on that last one by inverse operations. The way that I'm going to solve this is going to be kind of reminiscent of x squared plus 9x plus 8. So whatever way that we would have solved this, whether it's by factoring or the quadratic formula, we could solve this the same way. I'm never going to use the quadratic formula on these unless I have to. I kind of build all these to factor anyway. So I'm gonna rewrite this left-hand side in factored form. It's not too crazy. I know that these two terms are going to have to multiply to give me tan squared. So that's going to be tangent of x, and then these two numbers need to multiply to give me 8, but also add up to 9. So it's got to be a 1 and an 8, and they're both plus signs. All right, once you have it in factored form, you're going to set each of those factors equal to 0. So tangent of x plus 1 equals 0. That's your first case. And tangent of x plus 8 is your second case. All right, move the 1 over. So we're looking at tangent of x equals -1. This one has a couple of solutions. We want the places where tangent is equal to -1. So we don't have to use our inverse tan button here to solve this. This is a special angle on our unit circle. That's going to happen in the second and fourth quadrant at 315. That's one of them. And then the other one is at 135. Okay. So it happens at 135 and 315 plus minus 180 in. Remember, tangent repeats every 180 instead of 360. But this one is kind of redundant because if you add 180 to 135, you get 315. So you don't have to include this one. This one's enough. All right, for this one, we're going to have to use the inverse tangent. All right, tangent is equal to -8. So I'm going to say inverse tangent of -8. And this gives me my base answer of -82. You could use that. You could do -82 plus minus 180. I'm going to go ahead and add 180 to it just to bring it between 0 and 360. So x is equal to 97.125 plus or minus 180 in. All right, so that was our answer in the first quad. Whoa, hold on here. Oh, second quadrant. Yeah, 97 is in the second quadrant. All right. And then our other answer was the -82, which is down here in the fourth quadrant, but they're all 180 away. So this is good. All right, those are my two answers.